What is up, everybody out there in HeroClix land? This, once again, is Scott Porter back for day number 2 of our brand new Marvel HeroClix unboxing for the grand story event of 2019, written by Jason Aaron, War of the Realms. Yeah, that's right. The storyline came out a couple years ago. It is a massive, sprawling tale, and it is incredible. Thor and all of his friends from Midgard, as well as the rest of the heroes from Asgard and the other 9 realms, versus Malekith and his war council. He's got war dogs with him that he likes to ride around. He's got Enchantress, Ulick. He's got Curse. He's got the Queen of Heaven. I mean, there is everything comes to a culmination in the storyline of really 8 years of work that Jason Aaron did in the pages of Thor, and it's just incredible. The payoff is amazing, and it's definitely worth a read. Yesterday, we opened our first 2 boosters. We saw some heroes that we expected, you know, Thor, Blade, Black Widow. They're big parts of the War of the Realms. You saw some villains that we expected. Actually, no, we didn't see any villains. No Malekith, no Ulick, no, why is Hercules over there? Hercules is a good guy. We got a lot of heroes yesterday, actually. And then we got some figures that we didn't expect to see. If you didn't see day 1, just press pause, go back, watch it. We'll wait for you here and rejoin us now. This set comes out February the 2nd for pre-release. Get your hands on it, play a little bit ahead of time, and then the official release starting on the 16th of February. I cannot wait to get my hands on this, and I hope you guys are enjoying the unboxing series so far. If you've never watched these series before, I do 2 boosters a day, all week long, as well as one little bonus thing I try to do every single day. Today, I want to do the Play at Home kit, and that's where we'll start before we even go any further. I've got the Play at Home kit, which is really cool. You just buy it directly from your favorite comic shop or your favorite gaming store. It comes with a map, it comes with a figure, and it's a way to know, like, I have this piece. It's not a blind box, it's nothing like that. When you do the Fast Forces, when you do the Play at Home kit, you know what you're getting, and sometimes that's really, really cool, sometimes it's really reassuring, and a lot of times you get super great figures and dials and everything out of it. So the Play at Home kit this time around, of course, is the main man himself. It is Thor. Take a look at his figure here. Very similar to the Thor that we got yesterday, except for this is actually Mjolnir, and he has his arm as opposed to rocking a destroyer arm and a hammer that is not Mjolnir. So you can see the 2 of them there, and you can see the difference between them. That figure with the golden hammer and the golden arm is what we pulled yesterday, and this is the Play at Home kit Thor. We'll take a look at his card really quickly. I mean, you know, there are so many different ways that Thor has utilized his powers over the year. I'm excited to see a bunch of different readings of him through these figures. All right, take a look at his card here, set number 100. And as always, the Play at Home kit number. He's got his Guardian Deity and Warrior keywords. Okay, Recruiter has made its way into this set. We saw it in the last set, and it is back. This is awesome. Recruiter power. Choose a character with the Asgardian keyword in your KO area that hasn't been chosen for or generated by a recruiter effect. If you do, generate a character with the Asgardian keyword from your sideline that has a lower point value than the chosen character. This game, the generated character can't be replaced, and your opponent scores them immediately instead of when they're KO'd. I know that is a lot. I know a lot is going on there. No other special abilities, no other traits. War of the Realms, Thor through and through. Charge there, only 4 range. Quake happening, so more of an in-your-face Thor. Comes in at 75 or 50 points, and that 75 points for 8 clicks is a pretty good value in my mind. Now, Recruiter. Recruiter is very cool the way that it works. We've seen it with X-Men, we've seen it with Brotherhood, we've seen it with Avengers, I believe. And when you have Professor X on the board, if he's sharing keywords with some characters on your sidelines, after somebody is KO'd, you can go ahead and bring in a figure from off of your sideline. Now, you give your opponents those points right away, but you can, at that point, see kind of what is in front of you and what you need to pick to help you out for the rest of the battle. So say you got a beat stick on your team. You want to throw him out as an alpha attacker. He goes down very quickly. Hypothetically, let's just say the Thing. Somebody who goes in, punches a lot, maybe can take down a couple of figures, get you ahead on points as far as the game is going, and then you lose the Thing. Well, you can choose to bring somebody else in that can help make your team harder to hit, somebody else who can heal up your characters, somebody else who gives you a utility you don't have anymore and you see what your opponent still has on the board. You will give them those points. You will seed those points for that character right away upon them entering the game, but it will give you a leg up, and hopefully you can keep that point advantage going forward. So it is a very cool mechanic. I really like this Thor. He's a beat stick on his own, and he can kind of play the role of that alpha striker, go in there, cause a lot of damage. You've got Quake, you've got 4 natural damage, maybe take a couple of pieces down. If you lose him, he's 75 points. You can bring another character in off your sideline that's less than 75, and you can continue to press that advantage, or you could even shell up if you want to. Maybe bring in a barrier piece, maybe make it tougher for your opponent to get those points back, to climb that hill if they're down in points. Anyway, I like that effect. We're seeing a lot of this going on. Like I said, with Magneto or with Professor X, other Marvel characters, being able to kind of adjust on the fly, seeing what your opponent has, seeing what you need to do. You have shifting focus as well. It's utilizing your sideline a little bit more and making the strategy element a little bit deeper. How many times can I counter what my enemy has on the board? Or not when I say enemy. How many times can I counter what the player I'm playing against has on the board? We're not enemies. We're one big happy family in HeroClix here. I don't want to ever say my enemy. Sorry about that, guys. But you can see what your opponent is fielding, and then you can adjust on the fly. And it's pretty cool. With the recruiter thing, you got to go out there. You got to actually lose a character. But once you do, that's a whole other layer of strategy that opens up for you. Very, very cool. Okay, let's go with these 2 boosters today. We'll continue down the path. Booster 3, Booster 4. We got a lot of cool characters yesterday. There is so much I want to see in this set. Of course, I want to see the Daredevil. I got the sculpt in the last unboxing series, but I didn't get the card, so I don't know what he does. That Daredevil is so cool. But outside of that, there's a really cool moment in the books with Ghost Rider and Balder, where Balder, who drives in the realms, drives this really angry ship made of fingernails, like basically around, or has driven something like that before, and then he starts to drive Ghost Rider's car. That's a really cool moment. Balder is a cool part of this whole storyline. I'd love to see him. There are a lot of figures we haven't seen in a little while. I'm guessing we're going to get a few versions of Jane Foster. I want to start getting those out and seeing those. There's a really cool moment where Odin, Iron Man makes Odin armor, and he becomes the Iron Allfather. We got to have a sculpt of that. We got to have that in this set. So there are a lot of things that I'm looking forward to. I definitely want to see more villains today, though. I got to pull Malekith. I want to see what they have Malekith doing. Malekith utilizes a special weapon in this storyline that's actually, it's pulled from the symbiote. And the symbiote is separate from Eddie Brock throughout this storyline. And Malekith ends up forging a blade from the symbiote. He calls it the Venom Blade, or the Symbio Blade, or something along those lines. So I definitely want to see Malekith. He also has these crazy war dogs that end up, ripping him to pieces. But those are really, really cool. And, now that I know we're getting the Asgardians of the Galaxy, I want to see the rest of that team as well. So there's a ton of options for what we could be pulling. And without any further ado, let's get to opening here on day 2. All right. First up is, oh shoot, yes, we got a Prime here, and yes, we got, it looks like Frog Thor, not to be confused with Throg, everyone. Frog Thor and Throg are 2 completely different entities. Okay, we also have Donald Blake. You can see Donald Blake with the cane there. We've got Loki We've got the Scarlet Witch. We had Venom. Venom. We had Vision yesterday. And we've got Captain America, who plays a huge, huge part in the War of the Realms, leading the away team that goes to Jotunheim to try and find Thor. See, how the War of the Realms begins, as far as the War of the Realms storyline, the 6 issues, is Thor is on Earth. Odin is alone in Asgard, as Mangog has completely destroyed Asgard and has been defeated by Jane Foster Thor, who threw him and Mjolnir into the sun. Mangog and Mjolnir fly into the sun, and the Mangog is no more. But everyone else leaves Asgard, and then they come to Midgard, except for Odin. He stays there by himself, and then he's set upon by these dark elves of Malekith, and it seems that Odin dies at their hands at the very, very beginning of the War of the Realms. Then it takes you to Earth, and you see Thor there. Loki comes through this portal or arrives somehow. He's stabbed 1,000 times. He says that the Dark Elves are coming for you. Thor says this has to end. Malekith is getting his forces together. I need to strike first. He says, Loki, take me to Malekith. Loki teleports him to Jotunheim, where the frost giants live, and it ends up turning out that Loki is not Loki himself. Malekith uses one of Loki's tricks to trick Thor, takes him to Jotunheim. Jotunheim looks at Loki and says, I said take me to Malekith, and he goes, I already have, and he turns into Malekith in front of him, and then leaves him stranded on Jotunheim. At the same time, the Bifrost is destroyed, and Thor cannot get back to Midgard. And then the invasion begins. Malekith and Helios' forces show up on Earth. There is no Thor there to stop them. And so Captain America leads an away team after they get the Bifrost back up and running, when Daredevil becomes the Heimdall, so to speak, after Heimdall is no longer Heimdall. He gets the Bifrost up and running. Captain America puts a team together to go to Jotunheim to save Thor, or so they think. They don't need to save Thor. They get there, and Thor is in this berserker rage. He's killed. I think when they get there, they go, how do we find Thor? And I think Punisher, is it Punisher? Maybe it's Blade. He says, maybe we just follow the river of frost giant blood. That'll probably take us to him, and they end up finding Thor, and he's lost his arm, and he's just bleeding, and he's just yelling, take me to Malekith, or send me more frost giants, he's yelling. Anyway, Captain America plays a big part in it. We will take a look at him first, actually. Okay. Whew. And you can read the story about, it's kind of like like the Secret Avengers are back. It's kind of, oh, Wolverine's a part of that strike team. I think Blade is a part of that strike team. And they kind of all go together. Luke Cage and Iron Fist are a part of that strike team. And you can read that in a standalone issue. It's War of the Realms Strike Force, and they go to Jotunheim. And it's a really cool story of them retrieving Thor. But here is his card. Captain America has Avengers, Invaders, Shield, Past, and Soldier keywords. Nothing special there. Set number 2. Are we going to get the big 3 as set numbers 1, 2, and 3? Are we going to get Iron Man as well there? Pretty solid dial, though. 7 clicks long. He's worth 60 points. Got some charge, some sidestep, 6 range, 2 targets. The 2 targets, remember, they work at range. They work up close as well now. You can divvy up damage and all of that stuff in those different ways. So there's Captain America. Moving in to, let's see here. Who do we want to do next? I think because yesterday we got 2 versions of Vision, I'll go ahead and get Scarlet Witch out of the way. We'll take a look at her. We had WandaVision. I think that's a big part of why they're here. Scarlet Witch has been a player, though, in some of these storylines along the way as well. My Scarlet Witch is, she's kind of leaning. It looks like she's hailing a bus. She's trying to catch a bus. Like I said, I didn't expect to see a Scarlet Witch in this set, but for people who aren't huge Thor fans, I think it makes a lot of sense. All right, Scarlet Witch, take a look at her card here. She's got Avengers, she's got Latveria, she's got Young Avengers, and she's got Mystical. Keyword, she's set number 4. She has a special movement power, What I Must Do, I Can't Do on My Own. Phasing teleport. Passengers of 3, but only to carry characters that share a keyword with her, which is Avengers, Latveria, Young Avengers, and Mystical. Ooh, Latveria. Oh boy, Dr. Doom just got a little bit of help there. Okay. 4 clicks long. Some telekinesis, nice. So this is a big time positioning piece, and that's really great. A lot of times you find that you want to utilize all these characters that they got to kind of move on their own. They've got to kind of get in their own positions. She's big time for that. Only 30 points. So definitely part of the toolkit to get your big time hitters into position to play ball. Okay, let's go with Donald Blake next. Take a peek at him there. This is a more grizzled Donald Blake. This is not the old school wearing a white suit with the, little cane Donald Blake. This is a much more badass version of Donald Blake. Let's take a peek at his card. We've got Asgardians, Cosmic, and Mystical. No more Thors. When Donald Blake makes a close attack, his targets can't use defense powers. Whoa, yeah. Yo, that is awesome. Silver bullet for all of those guys. He's got Impervious, he's got Charge, he's got Exploit Weakness. He got Quake there. I misspoke, that is Quake. He's got Flurry, Blades Claws, and Super Senses at the end of the dial. Yeah, that is not your grandfather's Donald Blake. No, that is Servant of the Serpent Donald. I'm going to put him over here. He was so pissed. He said, I'm not Thor, and I never will be Thor again. I want to end all these Thors. Get him out of here. That's awesome. We've got Loki up next. And then look at the sculpt actually first. This is old school Loki as you know him, the adult version of Loki, the trickster himself, son of Laufey. Here we go. We'll take a peek at his card here. Set number 7, and I'm hoping we get a lot of different versions of Loki. Set number 7, you got Asgardian, Deity, and Mystical. Illusions and Trickery is a trait. During force construction, you may only add a number 7 Loki at 10 points if you also have a number 7 Loki from War of the Realms starting at 50 points on your starting force. For all your characters with this trait, 2 to 4 characters of Loki on your force, you can add 1 to your action total, and if you have 5 or more Lokis on your force, action total is +2. I know that didn't make a ton of sense. I will clear that up in just a moment. Look at the back of the card here. Yes, see, you have a 50-point starting line and a 10-point starting line. You cannot just use the 10-point stealth, super senses, probability control Loki on its own. That's a pretty great one though. This Loki is really, really great. This Loki is pulling that old trick where there's just images of himself everywhere. He has all of these visions that he's projecting out, and he's trying to make everybody see. You don't know who the real Loki is. That is so cool. That's a trick he loves to do all the time. Again, he just leaves these little portions of himself everywhere. And that is a really dangerous piece, actually. I mean, you've got probability control everywhere. So if you invest, 80 points into this Loki, you can have 1 main Loki and 3 extra Lokis. You get a little bonus to that. You've got probability control, stealth probability control everywhere on the board. You can make a ton of things re-roll, and they are all mystics. So if you're going to take them out, you're going to have to take that click of damage in return. So 1 click for 1 click to take out those 10-point versions of Loki. I like that Loki a lot. I will be using that Loki. Okay, Frog Thor. Take a look at his sculpt here real fast. Frog Thor. So this is actually Thor. Picked up Mjolnir, or a miniature version therein, and helped defeat Ratso and all of the all of the creatures in the sewers of New York City. It's a crazy old story when Loki turns Thor into a frog, and this is actually Thor Odin's son. Now, this is a prime, which is telling me we're going to have Throg in the set as well. What's his... Puddlegup? Puddlegup, I think, is the name he goes by now. But originally, Throg was Simon Walterson. It was kind of like a nod to Walt Simonson, right? Simon Walterson. And what happened with Simon Walterson is he lost his wife and his unborn child. It was in a car accident, I believe. He went down this dark path. He wanted to talk to them. And he found this witch, this psychic, that could allow him to talk to his now dead wife and to learn about their unborn child and have this really incredible heart-to-heart conversation. But then he can't pay what is necessary. And the witch curses him and turns him into a frog. He ends up in New York, in Central Park in New York, becomes a part of this frog kingdom, takes on a new name. I think it's Puddlegup. I can't remember. Ugh. But that is Throg. And Throg and Frog Thor, when Thor is turned into a frog, become friends, and they end up going on this big quest together. It's like the sewers of New York, and there are these rats that they fight and these alligators that they ally with, and just crazy stuff happens. When Thor turns back into a human, a splinter of Mjolnir falls off, and Throg picks it up, and that's when he becomes powerful in his own right. He gets his own little mini Mjolnir, and that's Throg. He joins the Asgardians of the Galaxy, is a part of that book. This is Frog Thor, though. This is Thor when he's been turned into a frog. We will take a look at his card now. So we're going to get Throg and Frog Thor. I just wanted to clear up that they're two different people, because I think a lot of people out there they see a Frog Thor and they're like, oh yeah, no, that's just Thor as a frog. No, they're two different people. Here we go. All right, Frog Thor, Asgardian, animal and mystical. You've got a trait, Puddle Leap. At the beginning of the game, generate up to 6 water terrain markers anywhere on the map that aren't within 3 squares of each other. Free. If Frog Thor occupies water terrain, place him in a square of water terrain within 6 squares and line a fire. He's got a special damage power. What do you call a 6/6 fighting mad bullfrog? Close combat expert, Frog Thor has protected pulse wave and the normal damage sign, not many. Wow, that is really great. I love the fact that he's going to be bouncing all over the board, teleporting from puddle to puddle. He's got charge, he's got quake, a lot of damage reducers there. He becomes a massive frog towards the end, a 6'5" bullfrog, as it says, toward the end of his dial when he gets some sidestep. He's only 40 points, packing that big of a punch. Look at the front of the card one more time here. That Puddle Leap trait is really, really cool. For free, he can teleport around the board and get himself into position. Controlling the alligator army. Ribbit, ribbit. I become a frog. Fighting the South Side Rats. Yeah, they're led by Ratso. Very, very fun storyline. I suggest going to find it. It's silly. It's fun. It kind of has that, back in the day, like, you had Journey into Mystery, which told some really deep lore stories, told some really strange stories, and also told a lot of, like, really fun stories. So this particular story, like, kind of went back to that ridiculous kind of Journey into Mystery story that you would get. Definitely worth checking out. I suggest that you guys do it. Okay, so we've pulled a super rare in Thanos yesterday, and we pulled a prime in Frog Thor, and that actually makes me really excited that we're getting Throg as well, because I love Throg. Okay, moving on. Next booster, where did I put it? It's down here. Okay. Character selection is pretty on point. I'm glad we're getting a little more of the villainous side today. Hopefully we keep that up with this booster. Ooh. Okay, yes, we do. We have Enchantress, who is also hailing a bus, just like Scarlet Witch. We've got Hulk. Okay. We've got Thor. We've got Captain America once again. But this is a different one. And we have, of course, Lady Jane herself. We've got the mighty Thor, Jane Foster. Okay, so we'll put her in the middle there. She has a unique ring on her. I wonder what she's going to be doing. I don't know why my Scarlet Witch and my Enchantress are both leaning the same way. This Captain America is different, like I said. So we're getting a couple of versions of Cap. I wonder if he's going to get a shifting focus. I don't know. We've seen shifting focus in the set already. We've got this Thor, which is set number 1. And we have the Hulk. Let's interesting, the Hulk isn't really a part of this storyline. Weapon H is a part of this storyline. Weapon H is a part of the War Avengers. Not a huge Weapon H fan, but I would be surprised if we don't get Weapon H in this set, knowing that we have a Hulk sculpt here already. Okay, there we go. Let's pull him back, and I think we'll take a look at the main man himself, Thor. This is set number 1. I don't believe that we pulled set number 1 Thor. No, we pulled 17, and we pulled 31, and we pulled 100. So, okay, this is a new Thor. Remember, the Thor we got yesterday had shifting focus. I'm guessing this one may have it as well, but I'm not sure. Who knows? Take out his card here and put it down and see what we've got. Okay. That's Jane's Thor. There's a lot of Thor cards running around here. Okay. Here is his card. Thor, set number 1. We've got Asgardian, Avengers, Deity, and Warrior. Shifting focus, Son of Asgard. If Thor begins your turn on the map, replace him with another character of this trait with the same click number. Okay, on the same click number. Sorry about that. Bring the hammer down into the fray. Hammer swing. Turn it around. Take a look at the back of the dial here. And what I'm going to do is get the other shifting focus Thor and pull it out so you guys can look at them back to back and see what you're choosing from, right? So you've got that charge, close combat Thor, and then you've got this running shot, energy explosion Thor, I'm not the god of hammers kind of Thor. So there you go, the two shifting focuses right next to each other. This is your set number 1, and this is your set number 17. So there you go. A little comparison side by side. Oh no, 31, sorry. That was 1 and 31. 1 is your up close beat stick. 31 is your running shot, energy explosion, Psy Blast version of Thor. Okay, yes, this set is definitely giving us a few Thors. We've got 4 already that are Thor Odinson, and now we've got a 5th in Jane Foster here. Let's take a look at Enchantress next. I said I wanted to see more villains. Here's her sculpt. Her and Scarlet Witch, very similar. Change in paint. Moving on. All right. The Enchantress, like I said, I would be betting has something to do with one of our tokens, but maybe I'm wrong. She takes over South America. Remember, she makes a new Dusklands when the forces of Malekith come to Midgard, when they come to Earth. Let's take a look at her card here. We've got the Enchantress, Asgardian, Master of Evil, which is great because we had Masters of Evil in our Dice and Tokens pack. And then you've got, let's see here, a trait called You Will Love Me, Mind Control. When the Enchantress uses it, after resolutions, give each hit target an Allure token, if they don't have one already. When an opposing character with an Allure token attacks the Enchantress, modify their attack and damage by -1. That's just basically Enchantress up to her old tricks. Take a peek at the back of the card here. Masters of Evil and Mystics team abilities. So no, that particular bystander token that I thought would be a part of her card is not. Maybe we're going to get a second Enchantress, but you can see she's got probability control, some outwit there. She comes in at 75 points. That is a popular point total for this set so far. Okay, there you go. Part of Malekith's War Council there. Let's move on to Hulk, who, like I said, I didn't see a lot of in this storyline. Maybe I missed it where Hulk was involved. But Hulk and Thor, classic, sometimes enemies, sometimes friends. When Hulk would go out of control, Thor would quite often be the one that would have to take the brunt of it and try and stop the Hulk. Let's take a peek at his card here. Set number 9, Avengers, Brute, Monster, and Scientist. Stand firm, remain strong is the trait. Invulnerability, traded invulnerability. Friendly characters that are adjacent or have the Avengers keyword can use toughness. Okay, all right, I'm seeing kind of a little trend here with the Avengers that we have in the set. Remember, with Black Widow, she was granting stealth to characters that were next to her. Hulk is giving toughness. Pretty cool. Combat reflexes there, as well as that traded invulnerability. Only 70 points for that dial. That's pretty solid, I think. All right, there we go. Hulk, come on over. Let's see, Captain America next. The other one had that baby blue paint job. This one more of the more modern royal blue. Same sculpt, standing on a patch of grass, standing his ground. Like I said, the issues with Captain America, you get a lot of Captain America in the main storyline, but you also get some of Captain America. I wish they would have put, Captain America has this like really cool like jacket that he wears, this winter coat when he goes to Jotunheim. I was hoping we'd get the jacket on this Captain America, if this is the one that's leading the team to Jotunheim. But maybe if we don't get him out of these two, maybe we will get one with that. It's got like the leather outside with the real white, downy, fluffy inside, and he wears it's got the little the little collar and everything on it. It's a throwback jacket. It looks really cool on him. Anyway, Captain America. This is set number 18. Oh, and we've got another recruiter for the Avengers here, Avengers and Soldier. So Thor is a recruiter for Asgardians. Captain America now a recruiter for the Avengers. He's got a special damage power, Avengers Assemble, leadership. If Captain America is on an Avengers-themed team, increase his leadership result by 1. There are a ton of Avengers keywords in this set. That recruiter ability is going to be huge. And he's only 45 points, so you want to send somebody out that's a little bit of a bigger point total first. Try and score some points from the opponent. Try and bring in some reinforcements on your side while keeping point advantage. It's a little bit difficult. It's a little bit of a deeper strategy, but I do like, once again, the fact that we're able to kind of switch up our strategies mid-game for what we're seeing from our opponent on the map. It gives plenty of counters back and forth, especially if both opponents are utilizing something along those lines or bringing characters in off their sideline. Gives you a little wiggle room to try and counter that or combat it. Okay, here we go. Jane Foster, she has a unique ring. Take a look at her here. Jane Foster's Mighty Thor run is really, really cool. It all starts because Nick Fury, at the end of Original Sin, leans into Thor and whispers into his ear, "You are not worthy." And Thor drops his hammer, and Thor is like, yeah, he's right. I'm not worthy. Can't pick up the hammer. He doesn't have Mjolnir anymore. Doesn't have his partner in crime anymore. And he starts just going by Odin's son. He's like, I'm done. No more. I'm not Thor anymore. Whatever. Jane Foster ends up picking up the hammer and becoming Thor. But nobody knows who she is. It's a big mystery for a long time. Who is Lady Thor? Who is Thor right now? And goes on a bunch of journeys, figures out a bunch of things. What you don't know is that it's Jane Foster, and her body is riddled with cancer. She's trying to fight it, but every time she grabs the hammer, every time she invokes the power of Thor and she becomes Thor, it eliminates all of these things in her body that would be damaging her, but it also looks at chemo as that same thing. So the very chemotherapy that's trying to save her life as a human, every time she becomes Thor, gets reset to 0. Meanwhile, the cancer resumes every time that she goes back to being Jane Foster. And it gets to the point where she's told, if you turn into Thor one more time, when you turn back into Jane Foster, you're going to perish. And she does it. She ends up dying, like a lot of people do in the Thor mythology of Marvel. You go to hell, you get shipped off to Valhalla, there's a lot of different places you can go. You can be reborn. But in the War of the Realms storyline, and this is what I'm hoping happens too, is Jane Foster actually ends up picking up the War Thor's axe. Now, War Thor was the ultimate Thor. Hope we see him. But his axe, Volstagg became the War Thor for a little while leading up to this event. Volstagg is dope as War Thor. And then Volstagg actually becomes the guy who is piloting the Destroyer armor throughout the War of the Realms storyline. Hopefully we get the Warriors 3 in this set as well. But I digress. Jane Foster plays a huge role, sacrifices herself in many, many ways to help overtake Malekith. She becomes the All-Mother, and there's a lot going on. But this seems like it might be earlier on in her Thor history. So let's take a look at her card. Set number 44, Asgardian, Avengers, and Deity. Real name Jane Foster. She's got a trait, Let Fly Mjolnir. If Thor hasn't been moved or placed this turn, and if no opposing character is adjacent, generate a Mjolnir marker, max of 1. Free, roll 2d6. For each d6 result, you choose the order, choose a horizontal or vertical direct path from the Mjolnir marker, and then place the marker exactly that many squares away along that direct path. If either path first crosses a square occupied by an opposing character, remove the marker and then make a close attack targeting that character regardless of adjacency, or a piece of blocking terrain, remove the marker and then destroy that piece of blocking terrain. She also has a special movement power, Goddess of Thunder. Charge, when Thor uses it, if her Mjolnir marker is not on the map, don't half her speed. And Hammersman, a special defense power, Impervious. Energy shield deflection, but only if Thor's Mjolnir marker is not on the map. So you can set this marker out there. It can make its own attacks, free per turn, or you can have Mjolnir on her body, and then she gains these extra powers. That's a really cool way to utilize her. You know, Secret Wars, Infinity Warp, she was Thor during all of that time. The dial is pretty solid, reflects that a lot. She's 100 points. So there you have it, Jane Foster, Thor in the flesh. I like that ability. She can drop Mjolnir onto the map, and it kind of, you know, when they recall Mjolnir or when they're using it and they're throwing it any which way, it's kind of like Cap's shield in a way too, right? Like, but Mjolnir can be on the map and she loses some special powers, or she can have it in her hand and have that special defense power as well as that special movement power. Okay, very, very cool. Was that it? Was that 2 boosters today? Again? All right, yeah, I guess we did. We pulled our Prime in the first one. We pulled Lady Jane in the second one. And that is going to do it for today's unboxing. I did get the map with the play-at-home kit, but it's always so funky to show you guys, or to try to show you guys the map. I'm going to decide to tell you, go try and find an image of it online. I think it is out there. You have the Fountain of Asgard outdoor map, and you have the Fallen Asgard outdoor map. And the Fallen Asgard outdoor map is really cool because that's kind of like Odin's last stand at the beginning of War of the Realms. Really cool maps. Go find an image of them online. Showing it to you here is just, it's a little too clunky, and I always feel ridiculous while I am doing it. Once again, War of the Realms comes out February the 2nd for pre-release. If you're going to go play safely. Call your local gaming store, call your local brick and mortar comic shop, find out if they're holding one. If not, make sure you order some of War of the Realms to pick up from your local shop. February the 16th, that is when the set fully releases. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I hope you guys are as stoked as I am for this set. I want to see, now that we've got a ton of Thors, tomorrow I want to see more characters that were involved in this storyline. I think I've gotten enough Thor. I mean, we've got 4 of them here, plus Jane Foster. We've got a couple of Captain Americas. We got a couple of Visions. Now I want to really get into more character selection. I can't wait to see what we get tomorrow. What's your favorite figure I've pulled so far? Who do you think is going to change the game the most as we go forward? Tell me in the comments section down below. Quick thank yous. I want to thank WizKids for sending me this brick early so that I could share all of this HeroClix goodness with you guys a little bit early. I want to say thank you to Hyper RPG Studios, where I'm shooting right now. We got Zach back on the board. Check them out on YouTube or on Twitch, Hyper RPG. They have tons of really cool content revolving around pop culture, games, comic books, tabletop video games, all of it, as well as a really cool HeroClix show that they have archived called Indomitable that yours truly was a part of. That is going to do it for today. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you for day 3, and until I do, may all your rolls be critical hits. Peace.